Hello, and welcome to the SewingMachine.com video series. Today we're going to look at some of the internal settings of the BES4 lettering software. These settings will enhance your use of the software and make navigating through your designs easy and hassle-free. So at this point, you should be seeing my basic white screen. Now, a few things on the Home tab that will help us work through the software. Number one is our 3D draw tool. So if I come over here to my lettering button and I choose normal lettering, I'm going to click on the screen and just type in some text. This shows me my normal view, but if I click on my 3D draw, this will change it to a 3D rendering that gives me a better representation of what the thread will actually look like. Now I can also check and make sure that it's going to fit into my embroidery hoop. So if I choose the down arrow, I have an option for select hoop. So I go there, I tell it that I'm working on a single needle machine or a multi-needle machine. I choose the hoop or the frame that I would like to work with, and I click on OK. And now you can see this added the frame. Now this is a 4x4 frame, but you can see that the attachment is over on the left. We will be able to change that moving forward. If I'm working with a Brother Scan and Cut, I can also add the cutting mat to my screen if I would like to do that. And I just click this on or click it off. Now, some of my other settings are going to be over here under the Views tab. So if I click on the Views tab, then I have my grid setting. So this is where I can turn a grid on or hide it either way. I just click that, and there you can see my grid. Now I will be able to change the size of that here in just a second. Some other things that I can do is I can actually set a background color. So if I prefer working in a different color other than the white background, then I can choose my down arrow, click on select color, pick my color or make a custom color and say OK, and there is my background. Now you can see my grid is very small and I've got these smaller white lines here. So what I can do is I can actually come over to the Preferences tab. When I click on Preferences, I then have several tabs across the top that I can modify and change. For example, on my hoop, we talked about the fact that the clip is on the left. Well, I can actually adjust that to be the top, the right, or the bottom. I prefer the top. I also want it to be centered on my cutting mat. Now, under Environment, I prefer to work in inches over millimeters, but this is how I can change it from metric to English. I can also turn on Autosave that will autosave every X number of minutes that I have set here, or I can turn that feature off as well. If I come over to my grid, this is where I can set the size of my grid. So if I prefer a 1-inch grid, then I'll put in 1 inch for vertical and 1 inch for horizontal, and this is the color of the grid lines. And then we have the major grid, and you can see there's the color of the major grid as well. And we can show them as solid, dashed, or dots. We say OK, and there's my 1-inch grid on my screen. The other thing that I can do that kind of can help me is I can add a garment to my screen. So if I go to Garment Templates, then I have a list of different garments. And I can do basic shapes like a circle or a square, or I can do different types of garments like a onesie, the front. I can tell it what color that I want it to be, and I can go to More to do a custom color if I prefer. I can tell it the size, and I say OK, and it drops my garment on the screen. Now, if I would like to get rid of that garment, all I have to do is click on it and press the delete key, and that will get rid of it. So I can add garments just to see what my placement's going to be, just to see how my design is going to look on that garment. So that sometimes can make my life a little bit easier. This concludes the video on customized settings in the BES4 software. Be sure to check out our other videos on YouTube at Sewing Machine DOTCOM. So our YouTube channel is Sewing Machine DOTCOM. You can also visit us online at sewingmachine.com. Thank you and hope you have a great day.